Hello, Dicky here talking about what stages I think are best for ice climbers in each matchup. This is all assuming Frozen Stadium, but I will talk about how I think these change based on whether Stadium is frozen or not. You will find this document linked in the description, and I'll also show you the entire list at the end so you can take a screenshot if you want, but as I said, the picture is in the description in the document that is useful to have anyways. Against Fox, your best stage is Final Destination. Against Fox and Falco, the only real way Final Destination can go wrong is if you get mixed up by full hop double jump mix-ups, which there's really no need to. When they full hop on you, you can just space around the full hop, and then they either land and risk getting grabbed, or they panic and double jump, and now you can actually go for the grab on their landing. But like when you see a spacey full hop at you on FD, don't always try to punish the landing, just space outside of it, and then if they double jump, you can actually go for a punish, and that's how FD goes well. Of course, Fox also has a good ground game in general, but he doesn't really have anything extra on FD that he doesn't have on other stages, which would make his ground game harder to deal with on FD. It's also easier to edgeguard Fox, which is nice. Against Fox, I think Stadium, if frozen, is your second best stage. If Stadium is not frozen, if there's transformations happening, then I actually have Stadium and Dreamland swapped. Dreamland would be my best stage, like in tournament right now, because yeah, the platforms are high and it's a big stage, but the super platform campy style from Fox isn't actually that scary. It's annoying, but I don't think it's like super hard to deal with. So that's why I think with transformations, FD is your best stage, then Dreamland, then Stadium. Battlefield, Fountain, and Yoshi's, they're all not bad for you. Yoshi's can feel really suffocating sometimes, but any knockdown on Yoshi's leads to a tech chase, and you know, on a small stage like Yoshi's, any tech chase could lead into a grab in the corner, which is the stock. So yeah, Yoshi's kind of hard, but it's alright. Battlefield's usually the stage I start on. It's a pretty comfortable stage for me, and if I don't know how the Fox plays, I feel like it's a good starter. Fountain, similar reason to Yoshi's. It's just a small stage, and I feel like the side platforms are a bit harder to make use of against Fox compared to against Falco, so I'll try to avoid Fountain and Yoshi's. But you know, I feel like outside of FD and Frozen Stadium, the stage order isn't the most important thing here. It's important to think about when you're doing well on a stage that, you know, should be bad for you, or especially if you're doing poorly on a stage that should be good for you. It's a good point to, you know, it's a good idea to check out why you're doing poorly on a stage that should be good for your character, because usually you're missing something in your gameplay that would let you abuse the stage as hard as possible. Now against Falco, again FD best stage. Stadium, even with transformations, I think is your second best stage against Falco. I like Fountain better against Falco than against Fox because for the very low side platform heights, it can make it hard for them to short up laser. Fox's neutral game is a lot more ground based, so Falco not being able to short up laser sometimes can make it a bit awkward for them. You don't want to be under the platform, under Falco, who's on a very low platform, because then they can just spam down air, but that's a preventable situation. Dreamland is kind of like another neutral stage that I will very often start on against Falco, and Battlefield and Yoshi's are, in my opinion, the stages that could be considered like the bad stages for ICs, because if the Falco players know how to kill Nana, they will do that very often, very successfully on those two stages. They just need one shine on Yoshi's, it's shine, shine, shine up B, Nana's dead. On Battlefield, they just need one aerial first, and then they can do the same Nana kills, and yeah, that's kind of annoying to deal with. But, you know, we've got 4 decent stages to play on, so having 2 that are a little bit harder is totally fine. Against Marth, again, Marth loves FD, but I think Ice Climbers love it even more. Stadium transformations don't matter too much against Marth because he cannot really run you down as hard on transformations, so I think Pokemon Stadium is your second best stage, no matter what. Yoshi's is often like a low-level Marth counterpick in this matchup, but I actually think that Marth prefers the higher side platforms and top platforms, because the really good Marth players will use full hop rising fair a lot, and after a full hop rising fair they can land on Yoshi's, on the Dreamland or Battlefield side platforms very safely, whereas on Yoshi's they are really safe on any of the platforms, because the side platforms are so low and the top platform is so low. So that's why I think that Marth actually does pretty well on Battlefield and Dreamland, and the really good Marth players will counterpick Dreamland first against me. Sheik also, you know, if you're playing against Sheik, you gotta win on FD. That's such a good stage in the matchup. You also see that I have Yoshi's Story as my third best stage against Sheik, because against a lot of the characters that you can chain grab, if you can chain grab them to like 50-60%, on Yoshi's you just need one more rotation in your grab combos and then you can already KO them. So that's why Yoshi's is a good stage against a lot of the characters you can chain grab. Due to the low blast zones, like just getting the chain grab to 50-60% means the stock can be over, which is a lot more chill than what you have to do on Dreamland, where you chain grab to 60, you get some damage, but then it's a bit trickier to get the guaranteed KO. It's still possible, but it's harder. Fountain is often seen as bad for ICs because the low side platforms stop the chain grab, but in my opinion, once they DI to a low side platform and you waveland onto the platform and grab them again, they're usually guaranteed dead anyways, especially if you're good at stuff like back through handoffs on platforms. So I think Fountain is a decent stage, and I'll sometimes start there. It's just Battlefield and Dreamland are the ones I'll try to avoid, because the platform campy style is, I think, the most successful one for Sheik to play, and those are the two stages where they can actually pull that off. Against Jigglypuff, I feel like this is one of the few matchups where Stadium is better than FD, and where FD isn't IC's best stage. Stadium has slightly lower top blast zones, so getting KOs upwards is a bit easier, tiny bit easier, and also you can hide under the side platforms a little bit, because Puff will generally approach you from diagonally above, so being under a side platform to just hide there is nice. The side platforms also have a good height to poke at a Jigglypuff who's on the ledge, because you can shoot ice blocks over them, and because the side platforms are pretty far away from the ledge, those ice blocks are a lot safer to shoot than on other stages, like Yoshi's for example. Of course, Dreamland's the worst stage. Puff on a side platform becomes Thanos, you can't hit her. She also doesn't die from anything. Battlefield, similar thing, just not quite as bad, but still pretty hard. I think Battlefield and Dreamland are pretty tough, but everything else is very winnable. Against Falcon, I think FD is again probably your best stage. And the next two best stages are the ones where you can stay close to Falcon, so Yoshi's and Fountain. The low Fountain side platforms can be a bit annoying, because they can stomp through them, and then if that ever happens, you can never get out, and then Nana usually dies. So I think FD's the best stage, Yoshi's the next best, and then the worst stages, the hardest ones, are the ones where Falcon can hide on side platforms, where you can run around platforms, and then especially once you're in the air, it's very hard to land, because even if you make it to a side platform, they will just up air through the side platform, and if you shield it, you will get pushed off the platform, and then they hit you guaranteed anyways. So that's why those stages I think aren't that good. It's harder to KO Falcon, and they can use the platforms to escape, and the platforms make it harder for you to come down as well. Against Peach, I think Stadium's your best stage. With transformations, the stage gets a good bit worse, so Frozen Stadium is by far your best stage against Peach. With transformations, I think it's still your best stage. It's just sometimes annoying when they get to pull a million turnips for free, because there's a huge rock on the stage or the tree comes up that can really swing a game if they get 2 fire transformations, and on each one they get to pull 1 free Stitch phase. Because you cannot really stop her from pulling the turnips because you're so slow in the air. Yeah, so Stadium's your best stage. Yoshi's probably your next best stage. It is a scary stage though, because Peach is a train you're on the tracks and the train's coming towards you, and you gotta, like, the train could hit you in a million different ways, and you gotta pick the one way that it can't hit you and then get around it, which is the issue in this matchup on any stage. On Yoshi's, it just kind of simplifies things because you have to make your decisions right away. You can't really delay your decision making. But once you're good with that, and once you stop jumping into platform or side platform down smashes, I feel like Yoshi's is probably your second best stage. FD is a stage that some Peach players will actually counterpick themselves. I think FD could be worse than Battlefield for Ice Climbers. Usually Battlefield is where I start, because it's a very comfortable first stage to play on. You can KO Peach reasonably quickly. It's kind of hard still, but it's not nearly as bad as Dreamland. And Fountain, just one unfortunate side platform coming up, or one situation where you end up under Peach on a low side platform, you lose an entire stock instantly every time. Which is why I think Fountain is your second worst stage, Dreamland is your worst stage, and then Battlefield and FD you can kind of swap around depending on what you prefer. And the Ice Climbers Ditto, you can pick whatever. I'll just say that if you pick Fountain or the Ices Ditto, I don't think you're an honest person. No, you're great, you should pick whatever, I love you anyways. But yeah,
Against Pikachu, you want to go FD, because you chain grab him. Stadium, similar thing, you chain grab for a long time, and Pikachu has a hard time running away from you. Yoshi's next stage, again, Yoshi's good, because you can chain grab Pikachu to like 30-ish%. Then you get one grab rotation, and then you can usually already start doing something like a crop smash into a regrab to potentially close out the stock. The next 3 stages I'm kind of unsure about. I feel like Fountain is probably Icy's next best stage, and Dreamland and Battlefield are the 2 worst ones. But all of these stages are fine. I personally think Dreamland is Icy's worst stage because Pikachu on side platform is kind of annoying to deal with. And if Pikachu kills Nana, it's usually off of the same kind of like Gimp setup anyways, which works similarly well on any stage. So, not quite sure about the last 3 stages, but it's probably Fountain, Battlefield, Dreamland in some order. Yoshi's very similar here. For similar reasons, you can chain grab Yoshi as well. Not for quite as long, but long enough. Also, Yoshi just dies later than Pikachu, so yeah, you need a couple more regrabs to take the stock. I think against Yoshi, Dreamland is pretty clearly the worst stage, because especially Sopo against Yoshi is really hard, and on Dreamland it's so hard to close out stocks as Sopo against Yoshi. Same for Battlefield. Fountain is kind of fine, because if you get Yoshi stuck on a platform, you can try to play Waveland grab mix-ups or like Waveland smash attack mix-ups on the platform, but you can also just disengage, especially if the platform is low, because the higher up Yoshi is, the more distance they can get with like their double jump nairs and things like that. Samus is a tough one. I feel like the small stages, weirdly enough, are what you want to go for, just because Samus's missile game is so hard to beat once they've set it up, so just sticking close to them is great. Yoshi's is, I think, I'm decently certain it's Icy's best stage. After that, I'm not quite sure. I will actually still counterpick FD first, just because, based on my personal experience, the stage makes me win pretty hard. Even though I know it should be difficult, just because any stage that is large gives Samus more time to stand in the corner and shoot stuff at you. So yeah, try stuff out. I think Dreamland Stadium are pretty tough, but FD could also be even worse for Icy's, but it could also be better. Yeah, let me know what you think. My current order probably looks like I'll probably have FD and FOD swapped in my current order, just from what I've experienced recently. But yeah, let me know what you think. This is how I view it right now. But, you know, I might be very wrong because I have 0 experience in this matchup. Luigi's a matchup I have a bit more experience in. FD is your best stage, Stadium's second best stage. I think transformations, both characters don't really love him, so I don't think they really mess with you too much. The more space you have, the easier it is for you to position and move around Luigi's wave dash down smash, like turn my brain off and just wave dash into you kind of neutral game. Yoshi's is again nice because any grab you do get can lead to a KO, and once Luigi gets you off stage, he usually has the stock anyways, and if you put Luigi off stage on the larger stages, he gets more chances to misfire, which can swing a game, which is why I think Dreamland and Battlefield are the worst stages for you. Dr. Mario. Some Dr. Marios will say that they love FD against Icy's. I don't see it. I think, again, they like Dreamland because they can be safe on side platforms and they can throw stuff at you, throw their pills at you. Yeah, Stadium. Dr. Mario will actually KO you upwards way more often than Luigi and Mario will. So Stadium is a bit worse against Dr. Mario because, like I said, they have consistent KOs off the top as well. So I think FD is your best stage, Yoshi is your second best because you can stay close to them and like out-scrap them. Cool. Next up, Ganondorf, FD best, cool. Stadium best, cool. Ganondorf, once he jumps, he's very limited in where he can go and how far he can go. When he's on a small stage like Yoshi's and he has side platforms above him, anytime he jumps, it could just be an aerial, or it could be like a double jump waveland on a platform, or it could be a double jump waveland into another double jump to another platform, which gives him way more movement mix-ups. Whereas on the longer stages like FD and Stadium, once he takes to the air, it's easier to predict where he will land and space around that. That's why Yoshi's is the worst. He hits you once with the punch and then you die. Battlefield, similar reasons. Battlefield and Dreamland here could be swapped. I feel like both stages are fine, just Yoshi's can be annoying, but I also don't think Yoshi's is that bad. Because same thing, you grab them, you chain grab for a bit, and they just lose their stock. So I don't think Yoshi's is even that bad. Mario is similar to Dr. Mario, just cannot KO off the top as easily. I like Dreamland a bit better against him, because I don't even know why. I think it's just because when I hit them, or when they hit me off stage, it's not quite as scary, because Mario's back air isn't as, like the angle it sends at isn't as tough as the Dr. Mario back air. And also, your Sopo will live a decently long time against Mario, but not against Dr. Mario usually. So yeah, that's how I view it. Yoshi's kind of makes their recovery better because they can up B a wall jump. Again, not really the most relevant matchup to me, so I don't know, you let me know what you think. Stadium could be better than Dreamland and Battlefield, honestly. You know, let me know what you think. Against DK, you want to go FD, because the monkey doesn't really like being above ice climbers at all, and he also doesn't like being on the ground next to ices at all. He wants to be like diagonally above you, which he could do decently on Battlefield and Dreamland. They can like go to side platform, charge punch, and once they're charging punch, you want to go in and stop them, but that's when they can play mix-ups to try to catch your wave dash under them, and where they can actually win neutral, or they can reset to top platform and keep charging punch. They cannot do that really on Fountain, Yoshi's, on FD, Yoshi's, Fountain, and Stadium, but they can do that on Battlefield and Dreamland. But those stages are still fine for ices. Now we've got Link and Young Link. These are similar, of course. FD, honestly, against both of these, Yoshi's might be better than FD, especially against Young Link, because you just want to be close to them, and the best way for those characters to play the matchup is to just be far away from you and throw projectiles and pull bombs, which they can do decently easily on FD once they've hit you away just once, right? So being close on Yoshi's or even Fountain is good for you. I actually think that against Young Link, Stadium could actually be a decently bad stage, and I might prefer Battlefield over Stadium, because Young Link can just go to one side platform, full hop towards center stage, pull a bomb, and then they can either double jump back to the left side platform or to the right platform, and if you guess wrong, you get hit by a bomb, you get juggled, it kind of sucks. Big Link isn't really as quick at going into the air, so he really wants the grounded space, but because his jumps are slower, it's easier to chase him down. Game & Watch, I don't know, I just go FD, and then that should be decently easy, because Game & Watch also doesn't love being on the ground next to you. He also wants to be somewhat diagonally above you so that he can use down air, things like that, which is hard to set up without side platforms. On Yoshi's, you sneeze at him and he dies, and then on Battlefield he's got some really good like movement going to and from the platforms, and he can actually set up his neutral game a lot better. The Dreamland side platforms are a bit too high for him, so when he goes on them, he's not that scary anymore. Yeah, I think this is a matchup. We're starting to get to the matchups where if you're struggling, it might not be the stage, you know? If there's someone who's just a tiny bit better than you, then picking the right stage will make the difference. But if you're losing to, you know, these characters, I think it's a good idea to look at what you're doing in the first place in the matchup overall. Against Mewtwo, FD is good, Stadium's also fine because you KO them off the top pretty early. I also think Mewtwo isn't bad on FD in the matchup, so I think he actually does decently on FD, but it's still your best stage, I think. Yoshi's is nice because you KO them so early, and then Dreamland is decent for them because they live really long, especially against Sopo, and the recovery is really good. And on Battlefield, they can suck you through the ledge, which is really funny, and does a ton of psychic damage to you. You know, because it's a psychic type. You get it? Get what I'm saying? Alright, Roy is another character you can chain grab for a very long time. Dreamland, I'm not sure if Dreamland here is actually super correct, but once you have a lead, you can just kind of stand on a platform as Sopo and hold down, and Roy can't really do that much. It's not the kind of playstyle people will go for, but I certainly will, and it works well. Yeah, and then Roy wants to play against you on Yoshi's or Fountain, because that's where you're decently close to them, and they can, yeah, they actually have, when they down tilt you, they actually have follow-ups. When Roy down tilts you on FD, you fly up, and then what does he do? Like, he just looks at you, and then he threatens up air, which does nothing from him, so on Fountain and Yoshi's, he can actually combo you off of his best opener, which is down tilt in the matchup. And also, Big F smash kills early, his side B kills decently early. Pichu, man, I think this is just Pikachu, but Pichu dies even earlier, so not much changes there. Also, Pichu has a harder time gimping Nana, but his forward smash kills Nana really early, at like 0% actually. It's crazy, you should look at it. Yeah, FD, Pichu can't really play neutral against you that well. I think Dreamland might actually... I think this might actually just be completely wrong. I would say best stage is FD, then maybe Yoshi's, then Stadium, then Fountain, then Dreamland and Battlefield. But, like, what do I know, man? I've never played against a good Pichu before, and the ones that I have played against that were decent, I don't know, I wasn't thinking about the stages, I was just thinking about what I want to have for dinner. Ness can be tricky to play against, because he has tricky movement, he's got double jump cancels. Like his down air, his auto cancel down air is really good. He can do down airs really high up that will hit you and hit your shield, but they will also auto cancel on the ground when they land. So you want to be wary of that. He has a hard time setting those up on FD though, because when he gets up aired, he can never land. So FD, Stadium are best stages, and then Dreamland is tough because they can use the side platforms to like double jump, move around the stage well. I would probably again swap Yoshi's and Battlefield here, because against a lot of these characters, Ice Climbers do a lot of damage, and just your raw aerials and smash attacks have so much knockback that you can usually KO these characters off of stray hits more easily than they can KO you. Zelda is actually another relevant matchup here. I think against Zelda, low-key Stadium might be better than FD, for the same reason it is against Puff, because you can hide under the side platforms, and Zelda, like, you can move towards Zelda, and when you see her in the air, you can back off far enough under the side platform that they cannot hit you anymore, and they also cannot go onto the side platform to like then set up a hit, which is, you know, the side platforms protect you from a Zelda who's coming down from above very nicely. But yeah, FD and Stadium are your best stages. I think Dreamland is probably your worst by a good bit. In my set against Jmook, he counterpicked Yoshi's against me first, which I can also kind of see. Because whenever Zelda's on a side platform, she can wave dash off the platform, and then with wave dash off the platform into a double jump towards the corner, she can basically overshoot the entire stage, which is risky for her because she can get sharded really hard when Ice Climbers are ready for it. But I see why Jmook picked the stage. But generally, I'm most scared of Dreamland because, yeah, Zelda KOs Nana just as easily on all stages, but you actually can have a decently hard time taking out Zelda, especially once they take out Nana and if they transform to Sheik. Sopo against Sheik on Dreamland is kind of annoying to play because they have so much time and space to just throw needles until you put yourself in the air in a bad way. Kirby, no idea, honestly. I've played this matchup like twice against decent Kirby players, and again, similar thing I had when playing against Pichu. This is a character who just, when you're on the ground, Kirby has a really hard time getting to you, because what do they do if you blizzard? And then when they jump, they're so slow in the air, and they don't really have any good, like, sure, they have a down air, but that down air doesn't beat your up air. So I like FD, I like Stadium for the reasons that you usually like them. I also like Yoshi's because random back airs can just KO Kirby at 70%. And then Dreamland, yeah, I don't even know. Because Kirby can't even recover that well, right? So all of these stages are really good for you. Against Bowser, you just don't want to go to Yoshi's because it makes his ledge game really good. Because they can ledge jump and just no impact line on the side platform. So they get like a super good ledge dash basically, that is very easy to execute. On Dreamland, they can live a decently long time, and I think Bowser, like, he isn't a useless character against Ices, but if you know how to play the ground game, you know, if they start shielding, you just set up a Blizzard, and then you walk in with a Blizzard, and Blizzard grab their shield, and then they die because they get chain grabbed. It becomes really tough for them. You just want to avoid Yoshi's, and then Fountain is fine, because they don't have the good ledge game that they have on Yoshi's, and being close to Bowser is honestly quite good for you. It's just Yoshi's especially, yeah, make their get up attack cover so much of the stage, and their ledge jump on the side platform is so good that if you find yourself, you know, against Bowser, just go Battlefield and see what happens, and then hopefully it'll be fine. Alright, that's it. I didn't really talk about the difference between transformations and no transformations that much, because I think there's not that many, or there's quite a few matchups where it matters. But Fox is really the one where it makes the biggest difference, and also Peach in my opinion. So those were the ones I focused on. Let me know what you think, let me know if you have questions, let me also make sure to zoom out a bit so you can actually see this whole thing. So, right here, this is the first half of it. up to Luigi. And then we've got the rest here with everyone else. And looking like this. Alright, cool. Let me know what you think. Hope you enjoyed. See you all next time. Bye bye.